What's up, everybody? Welcome to Play in the Field. The happy couple has joined us here. Jen and Gina are here. They are not the happy couple. We, of course, are talking about Mel and Peg. Their journey has come to an end on the show, but is obviously still very much going. Guys, welcome to the show. Tell us, what has life been like these last couple of months, and how has your relationship grown since the show ended?
Oh, we've been having so much fun. We were able to spend the last couple of months together on and off, and we've just done a lot of barbecuing, we've done a lot of swimming, we've done a lot of working out, a lot of drinking some beer, watching the games. So it's
Talking
been fun.
and finding out about each other.
Yes, definitely.
Do you guys plan to take that Napa Valley trip anytime soon that they gave you last night?
We got to fit it into all of our other trips. But I went to law school in San Francisco. So, you can make a day trip out of Napa. And I've done that maybe half dozen times. And I love Napa. I haven't been there in years.
Oh, wow.
Have you been there?
Yeah, I last couple,
Oh,
yeah, it was
yeah.
like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean,
Love
you know what I like to do? I've never done is a train.
Oh,
You
yeah.
get up there, take the wine train.
There you go.
I've seen it, but never done it. But, I love Napa. I love the wine. I love the whole thing. So I think in the spring would be a
Probably
good
in the
time.
spring. We have a lot of we have Christmas plans, we have Thanksgiving plans, we have New Year plans, birthday plans. So we've got a lot of traveling to do.
I love that. And you learn a lot about people when you travel with them. I will say that. You mentioned the happy couple, retreats and the things that you were doing, the things you were learning about each other. Peg, I'm going to ask you, and then Mel, I'll ask you, what's the funniest thing that you have learned, the quirkiest thing that you have learned about Mel? And then Mel, what's the quirkiest thing you have learned about Peg?
Well, when you ask Mel what time it is, he'll tell you how to make a watch for hours and hours.
Just trying to be brief. That's all.
For hours.
Oh my God. And then Mel, what's the quirkiest thing you've learned about Peg?
I'll tell you what I really truly enjoy watching her dance, right? Because I play music and I have I play my playlist, but she loves my playlist because it's eclectic from a lot of old like Motown and R&B and funk, and she can dance, right? And she doesn't care. She just does her thing, man. And I love watching her dance. And you just can't, when the music comes on, she's got the thing going, right? And I love that. I love it. I love it. And it's not made up either. She just does it. Doesn't care where it is.
Nope, not at all.
That's so cool to watch her.
Grocery
Well, it was
store, it doesn't matter.
Well, listen, it was so cool to watch your journey on the show and watching you guys fall in love with one another. But I guess the elephant in the room is, Peg, because Mel played things so close to the vest, at what point were you kind of second guessing if you were? Was he the right one? And at what point did you know that he was the one? And I guess that's a question for both of you.
Well, I was skeptical coming into this whole journey. I was very skeptical. Who wants to open their heart up on national television? Who wants to put their selves out there? So I was skeptical, and you guys can see that. I had my defenses up, and I was skeptical. I needed to get to know him. And I knew I needed to suspend judgment for all that stuff that was out there and really just to get to know who he was as a human being. Not all the preconceived ideas that everybody had, but just who he was. So I knew I just knew at our one-on-one date at the fair, the OC fair at Casey and the Sunshine Band. After I had spoke to him about some things that I needed some answers to, we got a lot of time at the fair. And he answered those questions. And I always said this, Mel is not integrity, or he does not have integrity. He is integrity. And he's only going to say what he really means, and what he really authentically feels and thinks. So the journey just kept growing. That love, the love just kept growing and growing. But I really honestly knew after I got out of the mud bath. Something about that mud, let me tell you, I don't know, it was supposed to be cleansing mud. It was something. But after I got back to the house, I literally told, one of the girls in the house, I just had this deep, deep gut feeling. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be me. And so I think what that did for me, that allowed myself to open my heart and to trust what I was feeling, that intuition that I had. Like, oh my gosh, You know, he is a good guy, regardless of what everybody is saying because of some things that, you know, the podcast out there. He really is a good, solid man. He really is. And that's what I was looking for. I was looking for the man, you know, a man of integrity and honesty. And I needed that. You know, I'm very high energy. I know a lot of people out there have problems with that. They're telling me to turn it down. But you know what it is, you guys? It's the joy of living, and it's the living with love and joy and gratitude. And I get excited about life. Look, I've seen a lot of in life, you guys. You don't do what I did for 25 years and not see babies dying and fires and burning bodies, you know. So I make a choice every day to be grateful for what I have and to be healthy and to live my life as such. And I just was looking for somebody that I could share that with. Then I found him.
When you were
That was a long
walking,
answer, wasn't it?
that's okay. That's okay. We love the long answers.
That was a very long
She built
answer.
2 watches.
2 watches.
When you were on that last day of the original journey, we'll call it, and you're walking out to Mel, and what was going through both of your minds in that situation? And Peg, when he took out the ring, did you think a proposal was coming? Like, were you going crazy in that moment?
I was going crazy because I was like, we had talked about it in the fantasy suite. We really had that time to spend with each other and really with no cameras, no lights, no mics, and really get to know each other, let down our guard. And we had a great night. We really did. We were like, wow, we have a lot in common. We're on that same wavelength. And we talked about it. We talked about the engagement and marriage. What would it look like blending our families together? I mean, I think we hit every point, didn't we? I mean, we really,
It was honest too.
yeah, it was very honest.
You know,
And
upfront, honest.
yeah, we talked about it because I'm not looking for that quick fix. I'm not looking for the quick marriage.
And we had a mutual understanding, independent of our own thoughts before we got in there. So, oh, you too? Yes, I'm thinking the same way. Great. So we're on the same page, independent of, you know, someone counseling us or telling us. So I go, oh, we can go forward with this because we're on the same page.
We're not looking for the quick fix. We're not looking for the quick proposal or the quick marriage. You know, we're looking for something that's sustainable. We're looking for the fire, you know, not the fireworks, because, you know, you keep fueling the fire. And I think we're old enough and we're wise enough and we're mature enough to know that that's what it takes to have a real sustainable long-term marriage.
Yeah, absolutely.
and
You know,
relationship.
Mel, one of the things I think so many fans and we on this podcast have talked about is as we were watching the show, it felt like you were holding back a lot. Like we were trying to figure you out. I mean, it was one of those things where we were just trying to figure out, does he, maybe not even who does he like, but just is there any what are the feelings? Are you caring about all of these women, any of these women? For you, did you feel yourself holding back as you were going through filming? Was it difficult to do that, to just keep all of those feelings so close to the vest throughout this whole process?
It's called intrigue.
All right, wise guy.
Honestly, though, I was honest. I was sincere. I wasn't misleading anybody. I wasn't disingenuous to anyone. I wasn't telling that I love you just because they told me, Mel, I'm falling for you. I think I'm in love with you. My reciprocation is not going to be, I'm in love with you too. It's going to be my honest feeling. No matter who it was, it's going to take time. And I know that Cindy wanted to get married off the beach, right? It just wasn't going to happen. I told her, I go, I'm not getting married tomorrow. So it's going to take some time. She wanted to get married. So I wasn't holding anything back. I was actually, one of the things they asked me, like, what's one of your better qualities is listening. Because that's the only way I'm going to find out about you. You know, they knew that I was going to be the Golden Bachelor for a couple of months. I didn't know anything about them. So they, Peg was telling me all these things about me. I go, whoa, how do you know that? She goes, I did my homework. And one thing I always say, you got to know your personnel. And, with her background, you're going to investigate. So they knew more about me than I knew about them. So I wasn't holding back. I was listening and observing and finding out. Let them talk. Well, I want them to talk. Could you imagine if I was just sitting there talking over them the whole time, telling them about me? Look, I've done a lot of things in my life. I think I'm an interesting guy, but I want to find out about you. That's what I find out. That's why I kept my mouth shut and listened. Because if I was the wrong guy going, I love her, and I talked over them, they go, this guy's a bore. So
Well, you definitely weren't that. And I think your analytical approach was unlike anything we've seen on the show. And I think that's why it threw a lot of people off. I thought it was refreshing as a guy coming from that perspective. But before we let you go, real quick, plans for the future? Are you guys moving in together? Has there been any dates set for anything? What can you tell us about where things stand now?
Okay, what did I think? I know, right?
yeah,
62 years old, we get to do the and. We don't have to do the or. You're younger, you do the or because you want to have families, you want to have, marriage, you want to have the house and all that stuff. We've done all that. So at this time in our life, our golden years, we get to do that and his house and my house and Rio for Christmas and Detroit for Thanksgiving and, San Francisco for New Year's. So we get to live in the and that's why we all work so hard, you guys, to get to this point in our lives to do what you want to do when you want to do it. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well said. And we can't wait to watch the rest of your journey unfold, you two. Thanks so much for being here. Congratulations.
Thanks, you guys. I love
and
your
best of luck.
podcast.
Hey,
Thank you.
we want to be on your podcast.
You do. Invite us.
You're
You
here.
were just
yeah.
on.
Come anytime.
We want to
Thanks,
do
guys.
the long version.
Long
There you
form.
Yes, we would
Yeah.
love that.
You guys check in
Absolutely.
with us every couple of weeks.
That sounds good. We appreciate it. Take care,
Thanks,
guys.
you guys.
Thank
Love
you.
the hair.
Thank you.
Yeah, like little doopity doo on there.
Yeah, a
I
little
see.
doopity doo.
You got a little doopity
Zippity
doo.
doo.
Yippity do.
Too young, honey. You're too young. You won't know.
Easy to see, guys, why they have chosen each other, and they really seem so happy. And I think, we didn't kind of know how this show was going to finish, but seeing them interact the way that they have, I feel like the right choice was made on both parties.
I don't think I saw it right away that Peg was the one because I think I was so fixated on Cindy. I don't know. She was first out of the limo. She just had such a glamorous vibe. But when you see the two of them together, Peg and Mel, they just make sense. Their personalities just really gel so well together.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny seeing them in the same, like, I interviewed them, full disclosure, I interviewed them for our ABC stations just before we talked to them here. And being in the same room with them, you could kind of like feel the vibe. Like you could feel that they, I think, are very happy and relaxed to be done with the secrecy part of the whole relationship. And now they can just kind of live. And you can see it in their travel plans. I'm exhausted just thinking about everything, everywhere they're going. Like,
Yeah, and I think the important thing is we've seen other couples, like Gary and Teresa, fall apart because they couldn't get on the same page on who's going to move, how are we going to make this work. It seems like they're both comfortable with the fact of, hey, let's just take it as it goes. We don't need to make any big decisions right now. Like she said, it's not an and, it's an or. We can do this, whichever way you guys want to do it. And for me, I think that's refreshing because they're finding, it's like couples working through their troubles and they're not really making it like a do or die type situation, Jen.
Yeah, it's the Joan and Chalk plan, where
Yes.
they just kind of have their own homes, but they keep meeting up as frequently as they can. Their families spend time together. They spend all the important holidays and things with each other. I think it seems to really work for them. And I don't know, I'm just like mushy like this. I hope we get weddings from Joan and Chuck and from Peg and Mel in the future at some point. I want to see ones that really work. I mean, not like what happened with poor Gary and Teresa, but for them to be able to have a happy marriage, if that's what they want.
by the way, can we just talk about about the after the final rose for a minute? Gary was there with Lana and Teresa was there.
I couldn't believe it.
Like,
And how about
what?
the fact when they introduced Gary to the crowd, everybody was like,
I don't know.
yeah, like it was kind of like a nervous
Because Joan and Tom were right
applause.
there too,
Yeah,
so like
nobody
you had
nobody
to.
knew nobody knew how to react. Like, should we cheer this guy? We're not sure. I thought that was very interesting.
It was awkward, right? I felt a
Absolutely.
little, yeah. Oh my gosh. Do you think Teresa said anything to him that night?
I'm sure
I
she
would-
stayed very clear
Yes.
with him.
I would think that she avoided him at all costs, which is unfortunate. You hate to see any sort of relationship end like that. But now that so much has been put out there in the public universe, I don't think there's any type of reconciliation happening anytime soon. I think we can all agree on
You
that.
know who was hanging out with her a lot in a lot of photos? Leslie and Pascal, your boy Pascal.
Yeah, I love
Like
that.
Pascal's angels. He's got
Yeah,
right.
Leslie and Teresa.
I
It
can
was
actually
funny. There was
see.
a clip. I forget who posted it, but you know how Alex and Andrew were there, and you know how she speaks French, and there was I think she might have posted it of the two of them speaking French together. I was
Oh,
like,
that's
yes,
cute.
okay, that's cute. Yeah.
I could actually see Leslie and Pascal kind of having a fun relationship if they were ever to try to make that work. No, Gina's shaking her head. No,
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Maybe for
Just not-
fun, not long term.
maybe for fun. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. Listen, the thing I wanted to ask Mel, and we didn't get a chance to, because those of you who are listening or watching our podcast, as Gina can help explain, when these press junkets come around, we're only allotted so much time with the happy couple. Obviously, we would
A
have
lot
loved to
of
have
people
them.
wanted to talk to them.
Yeah, obviously we would have loved to have him on for the whole podcast if we could, but we only got 10, 11 minutes with him. But one of the questions I wanted to ask Mel, and I wanted to get your ladies' thoughts on this. Do you think from the jump when this show started that he already knew in his mind that he was not going to propose to anybody? I think it's
says
kind of
he
fair to
did.
say.
Yeah.
He
But
says
I think he
did,
should have
but
said it.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if he should. I mean, it's tough, right? Because the producers of the show probably don't want him to say that. So it's tough to be like, yeah, listen, we're going to go through this whole process, but I'm not going to propose to anybody. But I really think in the back of his mind, he did not have any intention of proposing to anybody by the time this show was all said and done.
He didn't
But
even
if-
really want to say I love you to anybody.
Yeah.
He
thinks
barely
it
said
just
I
takes
like you to
longer.
anybody.
But it's kind of what I brought up in the interview, though. I think his analytical approach, we don't typically see that from contestants on this show. I think contestants on this show, they go into this show kind of knowing they just need to throw caution to the wind, kind of like Cindy said, and you just need to make that leap and take that leap of faith. And Mel just wasn't going to budge on his standards and how he felt this should go. So it is a reality show, which in a lot of ways is real life, but in a lot of ways it's not. But Mel was kind of treating it like real life and how he would approach if he met Peg or Cindy in real life. And let's play the long game here. And I think, counting you two, I think it kind of threw a lot of people off when they were watching this show.
Yeah, I think when you don't get a lot of emotion out of someone, it's easy to think they're not feeling anything. And he obviously did have some feelings going on there. We just didn't get the inside scoop to them. And I think for someone like Cindy, she needs to hear it and see the actions. And that's what she deserves if that's what she wants, you know? And I think Peg, on the other hand, just sort of got got it. I don't know, got the way he was and could tell that he liked her and was willing to see it through, and it paid off for her. So I think they get each other.
I also think, and that maybe in the fantasy suite, when they were talking and they were talking about each other in the future and all of that, he may have laid it out and said, "Hey, I'm not going to propose. I really do want to play this for in the long game." But I think that I feel like there have been other people who have said, I don't know that it's going to be a proposal, but let's see where this goes. I mean, we've mentioned it before. Charlie O'Connell had like 2 extra months to date people. You know what I mean? But and I think that had he said in the beginning and made that a parameter, like, look, please do not expect a proposal at the end of this. I really just want to see where things go. Then perhaps things might have played differently, and Cindy may have not have been as hurt as she was, because she said it in in the interview afterwards. Like, he was saying, "I think I see my wife in this room." So it was mixed messages a little bit.
Well, he could still see his wife in the room and just not want to propose to her within the 8 weeks of taping the show. To be fair,
But also, you should kind of let people know, like, this could be. I want to continue. I want relationships out of this. I don't want to be expected to have a proposal at the end.
I don't think anybody would disagree with you on that. But don't you think if he said that, the producers would be like, "What are you doing?" I don't think the producers would have allowed that. I really don't.
I don't think so. I think that, look, as in that interview with Taylor and Jesse, she said she was kind of making her own rules. And I think other people have made their own rules a little bit when it came to this. And it's like, if you want it to be a successful experience, then maybe don't have those expectations placed right off the bat. And then you can go in just with an open mind of like, okay, here's what it is. The show has changed so much over these many years that it has been on. So to me, I think that they've allowed the leads to kind of set their own rules. And I think that if he said that right off the top, it may have even just kind of softened the blow even a little bit to all the podcast stuff from before.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's funny you
Maybe.
mention that, you guys, because I think that he kind of had a lot against him from the very start. Like, if they were privy, the producers, to the information that he wasn't going to say I love you to anybody, probably not. And he definitely wasn't going to get engaged. And then he said what he said on the podcast. I'm really kind of surprised they went forward with him in a way.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
like
mean-
Mel, but still, you know.
Yeah, I think what you just said, Jen, if they knew all of those things, he probably wouldn't have been the choice, which kind of goes back to my point that he couldn't really publicly say, hey, I'm not going to propose to anybody during this season, but let's just go ahead and give it a shot and see where it ends up. I just don't think, even though he may have been internally thinking that, I don't think if he would have said that publicly, I don't think the show would have worked, in my opinion.
I also think that he may have been, because of all the fallout of the podcast, that happened before they started filming, obviously. So I feel like because of that, he may have been even extra guarded.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not going to say anything to make myself look any worse than what just happened in this situation. So I think there were a lot of things against maybe the viewers here.
Yeah.
Going not in their favor, because you were expecting to see a love story. We ended up getting that in the last 10 minutes of last night. So I think that there was just a lot that maybe could have played out a little bit differently. And I think that again is like, I know he's guarded, but like that was super, super guarded. And the more it played out, the more I thought that.
No question. I have two questions, though, for both of you. Jen, we'll start with you. If Cindy would have stayed and said, all right, Mel, let's see this through, do you still think Peg would have been the choice?
I do. I think that Cindy is almost too quiet and too analytical and just wanted what she wanted for Mel. I think that Peg is more go with the flow, and that's what he wants. I think he would have figured that out still.
Gina?
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. And I also think that she admitted to being a slow burn, and that's what he needed. And that was in his head. Like, I'm not going to, say I'm in love. I'm not going to do all of these things. So I think that the slow burn worked well for what he wanted out of everything. And I think we've talked about that. All we needed to know is what he was really looking for. And then we found that out last night after the final rose.
How
As
gorgeous
Mel
did
said-
Cindy look?
Yeah, she looked great.
She looked
That
great.
dress was stunning.
Cindy
And-
dressed the part.
Yeah. So who's your bachelorette pick if we get a good golden bachelorette here? Cindy or Debbie? Or somebody else?
I think Debbie would be more fun, but I also think Cindy would make a great golden bachelorette. I think she'd be the sentimental choice now at this point after everything that she went through. And how weird was it too with the crowd? It was funny because they were kind of hating on Mel in one sense with what Cindy went through, but then when Mel and Peg came out, everybody's like, "Oh, look at the happy couple," and then they were happy for Mel again. I just thought that to be very interesting how the crowd kind of ebbed and flowed.
That's been the
Yeah.
tone of the season. Like,
Yeah.
we were all mad at Mel when the season started, and then we're like, oh, but he's been through a lot, and he's fun and nice. Oh, but look what he did to Cindy. But look how happy Peg is.
Right, exactly. It was very interesting. The other thing I want to ask, we know that those fireworks were not on a timer, so the producers clearly made sure those were fired off. Has there been a more awkward moment on this show than Cindy leaves and the fireworks are going off and they're
There
both
have
just
been
sitting
some
there?
awkward moments, but wow, that was
It was classic. That was some classic
yeah,
producing
it
right
was
there.
classic Bachelor.
Absolutely, I loved it. Gina, who would you?
Have we seen that before?
I don't know that I have.
Something similar, I feel like.
Yeah.
And Mel's just sitting there on the dock, just pissed as these fireworks are going off overhead. Cindy's crying at another part of the beach. I was like, "What is happening?" But all in all, I thought it was a very good season. And do we really have to wait until March for Taylor, Frankie, Paul? Is this true?
Yeah.
It's so long. It's so long. But I'm hoping that we can talk to all of our Bachelor Nation favorites and hopefully Taylor leading up to her big season.
And it sounds like Mel and Peg want to be regular guests on the show.
Oh,
Look,
that would be incredible.
I feel like we should pitch it to them. I want them to like check. We should check in with them like on all of their travels. When they're in Rio, come on the pod. Talk to like show us around. When they're in Montreal, show us around. Michigan, maybe. I don't know. You would probably be interested in that, Ryan.
Yeah, I would. And
I think they should do it.
Speaking of Michigan, Mel played at Michigan, and the one question I wanted to ask him, which I hope I get to when he comes back on the show, what is tougher, playing in the Michigan-Ohio State game or sitting on a couch with a girl you used to date and then explain why you didn't pick her in front of a national TV audience? It was like, man, I was putting myself in his shoes. But to be honest, I thought they both handled that conversation so well. Mel
They
and
did.
Cindy, it felt so real. And I think that might have been one of my favorite parts of this whole season.
They're grown-ups, you know, they know how to handle themselves. And I think that is what we love about this Golden Series so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was tough to hear some of the things that Cindy said because I just felt so bad for her. Because I think she really did. She thought that was her guy. She said it so many times, like, this is my guy. And then until he wasn't. And when she said, he's not my guy, I don't want this, I was like, girl, I feel for you.
Yeah.
And I really just like, she's just the sweetest woman. Like, she's so sweet. And I just want her to find like the best guy ever. So I'm manifesting that for her.
And who knows, we might just see her encounter that journey on the Golden Bachelorette. Wouldn't that be something?
Maybe.
You never know. The drama continues, and we're here to talk about it. All your favorite Bachelor things as the, I guess we'll call it the off-season sports term between Bachelor seasons here. We're in the off-season now. But Jen, if you like our podcast, what do you need to do?
Oh, like and follow us, and what the heck, leave us a review. We love it. And we read all your comments on YouTube, and they've been so fun.
We love the
conversation.
comments. We love the bickering back and forth. If you have any comments on my hair, Peg loved my hair so much, we can obviously throw those in
She's
there.
obsessed with your hair.
Peg. Mel was almost getting uncomfortable pegging my hair so much. But no, we always appreciate the feedback from our loyal viewers and listeners. And listen, we can't thank Mel and Peg enough for being here. We can't thank Jen and Gina enough for being here. And of course, you guys for watching and listening. And I'm Ryan. We'll see you next time on Playing the Field.